Hey stamping friends, this is Angie here with Too Cool Stamping. I'm here again with another class. This time we're doing a little bit different than normal. We're not just focusing on a suite, we're kind of mixing it up a little bit. Hopefully you're gonna love it. I really enjoyed putting this class together and I really hope that you do too. Just a couple of housekeeping notes right off the bat. We're just at the tail end of July 2024 and we just have today and tomorrow left with bonus coupons. So don't forget that, remember, for every $50 that you spend, you get a $5 bonus coupon that you can start redeeming on August 1st. So take advantage of that right now. You can purchase this, you can purchase an order right now, get it up to $50. You only need $45 to get a free class kit from me. And that includes all the parts and pieces to make all 5 cards that I'm going to show you tonight. So you can put that in, that order in either tonight or tomorrow and still get that bonus coupon. And I will, when I turn the camera around, I'm going to show you the host code that you need to put in order to let me know which free kit that you would like. All right, so today we're going to focus on textured florals. Have you seen that one? That one's been around quite a bit. I think it's it's over a year old. It's mentioned in the current annual catalog, but not really shown very well. So mostly it's an online, not really exclusive, but it's an online product. You're going to see the best photos of them online. And if you haven't been to the online store, just to check it out, there are lots of online exclusives happening right now. And that's kind of a new thing for Stampin' Up, that they're just like every 3 months, they're putting more and more online exclusives, like a whole catalog's worth of online exclusives. So you might want to check that out if you haven't already. There's lots of stuff in there. All the stuff that's online only is while supplies last. Now they are going to stick around for a little bit, but if they're really popular, they'll probably stick around a little bit longer. But once things sell out, the final time, you never know when they're going to disappear. There's not an end date specifically for online things. So if it's really popular, it'll stick around a little bit, but you never know. So you always want to get what you see online that you like, get it right away so that it doesn't all of a sudden disappear and not come back. So check out the things online. You can go to toocoolstamping.com and click on the Shop Now link and then look for the category online exclusives for those. But like I said, textured floral, that is in the annual catalog, so that will definitely stick around until the end of the catalog. Even though it's not really shown very much. It was in last year's catalog, I believe. So we're going to use that along with Wildly Flowering Designer Series paper. Now there's a whole suite, the what's it called? Yeah, Wildly Flowering Suite. And that has a different stamp set and a different bundle involved with that. But I didn't like it as well with the paper as textured floral. And I'll show you what I mean when I flip the camera around. So hopefully you'll like putting these things together too. I love that coordination is what Stampin' Up is all about. So don't forget to look outside of suites that you see and see what might go together, because a lot of the styles are very similar and you can kind of mix and match, and it adds to the versatility of all of the things that you see from Stampin' Up. So with that said, I'm going to flip the camera around. We'll talk a little bit about the suite as well as textured floral and how well they go together, and then we'll get to the card making. So hang on for just a second while I flip you around. And there we go. Let's turn some light on here and get everything nice and centered. All right, so I mentioned the class kit. I always have a 5-card class kit that you can earn with a $45 order at my toocoolstamping.com store. All you need to do is go to that website, click on Shop Now, and you'll get to the store. Then place an order for at least $45. Remember, for today and tomorrow, you'll still have a bonus coupon option if you get to the $50 level, so you'll want to hit that. And then use that host code on the checkout page. Add the host code V4XFAWDS, and that will let me know that you would like a free kit for the textured floral stamp set and Wildly Flowering Designer Series paper. All right, let's check out some of the things from the suite and what we're going to be working on today. So we're going to be focused on the Textured Floral Bundle. I just absolutely love the images in this. These are so great because the flowers that you stamp with ink are just beautiful in and of themselves. You can do a little bit of layering, as I'll show you, and they do collages very, very well. There's some really nice sentiments in this as well. So this is one I really, really enjoy. Plus, in the bundle, you're going to get the Textured Floral Dies, and that's going to have all of the outline images for all of the, or outline dies for all the images in the stamp set, plus a lot of leafy branches that you can add to your bouquets that you're making with Textured Floral. So this is the stamp set and die set we're going to be using mainly for our cards. Now we're also going to be using several things from the Wildly Flowering Suite in the annual catalog. That's on page 40 and 41. And there's lots of things in here that go so well with the Textured Floral. You'll see the images are kind of, I don't know what you call them, but they're just kind of painterly. They're very artistic, and the Wildly Flowering paper just goes with that so beautifully. I just couldn't get over it. So I thought I need to pair those up and show you some different cards with that. This paper is just absolutely amazing, and I love all of the artistry that goes into the papers that Stampin' Up! Has. They really do. I mean, it's actual art that they take photographs of, and then they tweak the colors to match the colors from the color families. So here are all the papers. I'm going to show you both sides. And this is just a nice boho blue background, some moody mauve, early espresso is another color, some crumb cake here with mossy meadow, some more, this is more like a misty moonlight. And I love every one of these has kind of a canvas texture in the background. So some wild wheat and also some basic beige. Lots of beautiful colors that are going together. Lots of last year's in colors. So really, really pretty. We'll be using most of those papers today. All right. Next, I wanted to show you some other things from that suite. So we are not using the stamp or the bundle from that suite. I really thought, I mean, this stamp set is nice and I like it, but I just thought with that paper, I had to go with this because the images look so much like them. So this is really pretty. It has some really nice sentiments. They're fun to do some coloring with some Stampin' Blends. And then I do love the dies. The Wildflower Designs Dies are awesome because you have these beautiful framed images, and we're going to be using those kind of a nested frames. And we'll be using some of those as elements in our cards. So we will have a little bit from that suite or that bundle involved with these cards, but not the stamp set. You do not need the Wildflower Design stamp set with this class, just Textured Floral. We also have the Dashing Designs Embossing Folder, and it's kind of hard to see that, but let me see if it has it in the book. You can see it a little better. Not really. We'll just show you when I have one of the cards that we use this on, and you can see the Dashing Designs goes in that suite as well. And then I absolutely love these. These are called Textured Dots, and they're kind of, I don't know, they're just like a metallic that has kind of a fun texture, dotted texture on them. And so we are using these on every single card. I just think that they go so well with it. So hopefully you're going to love this class. I'm going to go ahead and get started with our first card. And I think you're really going to enjoy it. All right, we're going to start with Early Espresso. And this is a traditional card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And we'll just use our bone folder to crease that. I have some Wildly Flowering Designer Series paper. This is 2 by 5.5. And I'm just going to adhere that onto a piece of Moody Mauve. That is 2 1/4 by 5.5. And then we'll layer that onto our card base. I'm using seal adhesive. And just as a note, I know some people have trouble with the seal adhesive. If you're having trouble actually applying it, try a different angle, like maybe up a little bit farther. Make sure that you're actually adhering it on a flat surface so you're not kind of cockeyed. This piece right here needs to be flat against the table. Now with that said, I did get a couple of packages recently that as soon as I took it out of the package, it was completely unraveling. If that is ever happening, feel free to contact me, or you can contact Stampin' Up directly and they will be happy to replace it if it's if you have some kind of a damage like that. I just wanted to let you know that because I had 2 of them that happened to, and they're very good about replacing. All right, this I used the Wildflower Designs Dies to cut a crumb cake element here, and then I'm gonna add one of the Textured Floral die cuts here. This is in Early Espresso. I'm going to use some liquid glue, and this does take just a tiny bit of time. I'm not going to do every single leaf. I think you would want to do most leaves, just a little tiny dot, just to make sure that it's all going to be nice and adhered. But just for time's sake, I'm just going to do it very, very quickly. We'll layer that onto this. It almost fits perfectly. And you'll want to hold that there for a couple of seconds. I'm going to let that just dry for a minute. Then I have another die cut here, just in basic white. I use that same Wildflower Designs Dies. So this gives you a frame that is scalloped, and I want to actually pop that up a little bit, and I've already put on some dimensionals. I wanted to show you how I did that. It's just kind of skinny, and you could use mini dimensionals if you wanted to, but I found that this edge right along your edge of your dimensionals actually fits in there perfectly. So these little tiny zigzags here line up perfectly with the scallops. So you can just cut a couple of those out, and I just kind of stagger them all around. So that'll be ready to go. Let's put this one down first. Now that that's nice and dry. And we're going to add this over here. And next we're going to add this frame with all of those dimensionals. You wouldn't have to pop this up. I just thought it really looked kind of extra special. I always like a recessed area. That's kind of one of the things I really, really like is recessed elements. And it's so sticky, it keeps sticking to me. So I really thought it would be fun to pop this up. All right, I think we have them all now. So I'm just going to put this right around that. Really gives it a pop. And I love that depth and that dimension there. So fun. Okay, there's our little background. Now let's do some stamping. I have just a piece of scrap here of basic white. And I'm going to use the smallest flower from Textured Floral. And I'm also going to use some Moody Mauve, and because this is photopolymer, I like to use a piercing mat to do my stamping. So we'll put that here. We have our Moody Mauve ink, and I want to stamp 2 of these onto some scrap paper. Next, we're going to fill that in with a little floral center image. And this is in Early Espresso. So it just gives a little pop right in the center. And then you'll use your dies to cut those out. And before we put those on, I'm going to put the sentiment on. I have a piece here of basic beige that I cut with the Stylish Shapes banner. And we're going to add a little sentiment that says, with a grateful heart, and we'll do that in Early Espresso. So we'll add that. And then what I want to do is just add this right over the top. So I'm going to put a little bit of seal right on the ends, and then also a little dimensional right in the middle just to keep it popped up in the center so it doesn't droop. So you can put 1 or 2 dimensionals right in the middle. And we'll add that right at the bottom. I wanted to add this first so that we could have a little more of an idea of where we wanted to put these flowers. We're going to pop these up as well. And I would probably put 2 dimensionals side by side. I always err on the side of more dimensionals. So we'll put 1 over here. And we're going to tuck it under and just put 1 right here. Okay, there's our card. We're going to add some of those really cool textured dots. You could use your take your pick tool. I have a little piercing tool that's retired that I like. And just add a big one and a little one. And there you go. There is our first card. Really simple. Didn't have to do a lot of stamping. It's all about the die cuts and the different levels and popping it up. Really, really pretty. All right, let's get on with our next one. So our next card is all about making kind of a bouquet, a little collage of flowers here. So we're going to start with Misty Moonlight, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. This is also going to be a vertical card, and I'm going to start with 2 different pieces of the Wildly Flowering Designs. This one is 4 by, let me make sure my measurements right on this, 4 by 2.5. And we'll put that right at the top with just a little border. And then on the bottom, here's another pattern. This one is also going to be 4, and it's by 2 3/4. And we'll put that at the bottom. I think I'm going to do it this way. All right. If it have a little bit of gap in there, that's okay, because we're going to end up putting this little piece of boho blue. This is a 4 1/4 by 1/2 inch strip. So this is just a little bit wider than the Designer Series paper, and that is on purpose. I want it to go clear across and create a nice little element there on the seam. All right, now we have another Wildflower Designs die cut. So I did use that quite a bit. This is in basic white. We're going to add a sentiment in, let's find it, some Moody Mauve, not Moody Mauve, sorry, Misty Moonlight. Much different. Get some of these dimensional papers out of here. And this is going to kind of go over on the side here. And that's going to go right here in the center. And now we're going to create a whole bunch of different elements to go in there. So the first one is some Mossy Meadow Textured Floral Dies, just a little stem. Next, we're going to have some Moody Mauve, that same little tiny flower that we had. I keep saying Moody Mauve, Misty Moonlight. So 2 of those. Then we're going to have lots of little pieces here. We're going to have some leaves in Pecan Pie. And we're also going to have, I'm going to use that little flower center, and I'm going to have that as a separate element. So I'll stamp that in Pecan Pie as well, since we have the ink out. And then we have Moody Mauve. We really do have that for one of them. And we're going to do that one in, this is the medium-sized flower. Oh, that's Early Espresso. Wrong. Here we go. Let's use use this chamois. This is the chamois that comes with the Glass Mat Studio, which is currently available and is a really awesome tool for your stamp room. I love the chamois. I wish that they would sell that separately because I would totally buy many of them. All right, and then the last one we're gonna do, boho blue for the large flower. You find one more piece of scrap here. And those are all of the elements. Lots of different elements, lots of different colors going on there. Let me close up all my ink pads. And then we use the Textured Floral Dies, and we're going to cut all of those out. So we have all of these pieces left. And I also cut one little tiny flower center from there. I can't find my, I can't find my little tiny guy. Where did he go? Anyway, I'll have to do that later. I had a flower center, this little one that I stamped that I am not finding right now. He obviously got loose. Anyway, let's put them all together. We have all of our pieces here, and that little flower center I'll show you on my original card. So we'll start off with this piece. We're going to use some more of the liquid glue. So just a little bit, little dab will do ya. You know what I'm talking about. All right. We'll add that right next to the sentiment. Let's go like this. Oops, too close. Oh, you know what? It's because I don't have my, I need to adhere that first. I just totally made a mess. I was thinking it was adhered. It's not adhered yet. Let's put that down. All right, put that in the center. Now we can put this little guy on here. Like so. All right, then let's take the leaves and just add that with some seal. And that's going to come out on this side of our sentiment. And then we're going to just pop everything else up. So we'll start with the large flower. And for speed's sake, I'm just using 3. You know I would use more if you know me. We're going to add this in right here. We're going to add the medium flower. We're going to tuck that one kind of under here. We're going to add these two. Let's just go one at a time and see how it goes. Let's put one right here. And then this one I think I want to put over here, so it's going to be partially up. So make sure that your dimensional is a little bit farther over, and maybe a little bit of seal on the other side just to tack it down. And we'll sneak him in right here. And then we have a couple other elements here. This one is the die cut piece. You will get this little die cut. Just a couple of dabs of liquid glue on there. That one's going to go right into the middle of the big flower. And then for the medium-sized flower, that's where that other flower center that I stamped will go. And then we're going to finish it up with just a couple of 3 different textured dots. So here is the final look at that pretty card. I love how you can just layer and mix and match, and depending on what kind of background paper you have, you know, you can just make that coordinate so beautifully. All right, the next card is a little bit of a fun fold card. And this one starts with Moody Mauve. And this one, let me give you the measurement. It's 5.5 by 7, and you're going to score it at the 2 3/4 inch mark. So we have kind of a shortened fold here, a shortened card front. Next, we're going to decorate the inside with a piece of embossed Moody Mauve paper. This is 1 1/4 by 5 1/4, and it has that Dashing Designs embossing on it, so you can see a little bit of what that looks like. So we'll add that right down this little strip. And we're actually going to make this one a horizontal card. I have a piece here of the Wildly Flowering Designer Series paper. It's going to be 5 1/4 by 2 1/2. And it's that wild wheat along with Moody Mauve. We'll put that at the top here. So pretty. All right. Next up, we're going to have a foundation here. This is a Stylish Shapes die cut from Basic Beige, and we're going to put it right here, and it's going to overlap, or it's going to overhang, I should say, this edge. So I don't want it to go any farther. I don't want to have any adhesive any farther than that. So I'm going to flip it over, kind of line it up where I want it, and then use my seal and not have any seal below that point. All right, so there's my foundation. I'm also going to start out with a sentiment. So again, Stylish Shapes. This is a basic white die cut, and we're going to use this larger sentiment. And if you notice, I like to put sentiments on one side and then another. That just saves space on my work table. This one has 2 different, it's called Every Thought of You Makes Me Smile. And we're going to use some Stampin' Up markers. You could just stamp it in Early Espresso if you want to. I'm actually going to, I think what I'm going to do is stamp Early Espresso. Ink Early Espresso. Hold it. I'm going to try it again. What I'm actually going to do, let's back up. I'm trying to remember how I did this. I made this card so long ago. I actually just did right on the edge. So I didn't get the Moody Mauve on the top part of that sentiment. Then, if you want to, you can use the Moody Mauve marker, just like I'm going to use the Early Espresso, the brush tip end, and I'm just going to go over that top part of the sentiment. That way you're going to have 2 different colors. So if you have a lighter color, you can just kind of ink up with that and then go over one part of it with a darker color, or just do them both in marker, whatever is easiest for you. So there is my 2 color sentiment, and I'm going to add that to the card front as well. And then we'll build up our flowers around that. So this is going to go right here. Just kind of line it up parallel to that front, that edge. Now let's do some stamping. Again, we're going to do a little tiny collage. So let's start with our large flower. I'm going to clean it off with my chamois. If you don't have this chamois that comes with the glass mat, definitely get the Simply chamois. That one's going to work really, really well. So this one, the large flower, is going to be in Wild Wheat. And then we're going to do 2 smaller flowers. One is in Moody Mauve, and the other one is also in Moody Mauve. Let's clean it up because I think we have some blue on there. So again, you're going to get the scrap paper for anything that is stamped, and then you'll have to die cut that or fussy cut that yourself. All right, this is our Misty Moonlight. We don't need that. We need Early Espresso. And again, I'm just going to fill the flower centers You can use that same flower center for both of these. And magically, I have this one done, this one done, this one done, and I've also stamped the flower center in Early Espresso. And you can add that to the large flower. Just gonna add a little seal. You could use liquid glue, or you could use glue dots if you wanted to. Whoops, I don't want to put that there. That's the one that I want to use, the actual one. There we go. All right, now let's do a little collage, a little bouquet of our flowers. And we'll start again with the large flower. We're going to have him kind of hanging off just a tiny bit. Medium-sized flower we'll put up here, and small flower right here. So quick and easy. Hopefully I'm still on the screen here. And we'll finish off with a few of those textured dots again. Just stick those in here wherever they fit. Whoops, he about fell right off. Get him in there. There we go. And maybe one up here. All right, so there's the card front. I absolutely love that. I want to show you my original card because I'm also going to give you some extra scrap paper that you can do a little collage on the inside as well. So you'll get this piece of basic white, and then you can do a couple of extra stamps to add right under that circle. I love how that hides that element, but it's so, so cute. All right, that's our third card. We have another fun fold for the fourth card, and this one starts with basic white thick. You want to definitely make sure that it's the thick, just a little more sturdy than the basic white cardstock, and it's just a quarter sheet, so it's just cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Next, I have another layer of basic white. This does not have to be thick, but it's going to be just a hair smaller, so it's going to be 4 1/8 and 5 3/8, and it is textured with the, now I can't remember it, floral, I can't remember the name of it. It's floral something, but it's one of the embossing folders that's available now. Hopefully you can see that beautiful design. Kind of goes right with the floral look of this whole wildly flowering textured floral imagery. So that's going to cover the whole background, just about, just a little 1/16 of an inch left around the edges. So that's the base of our card. Next we have, oh dear, I forgot one little piece, and I'm going to find it real quick. If you can just hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I left it over at my other table, but it's kind of an important piece because this is the foundation for the rest of the card. 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, and that's going to go right down in the center here. Oh, before we do that, I do have one pink element here. This is the Pretty in Pink, and this is 4 1/8 by 1 1/2. So this is the new Pretty in Pink in color. We're going to put that down there first. And then we'll put Early Espresso kind of as a little foundation. Gotta have it. And I'm just going to center it between all around and then the base of this Pretty in Pink. All right, next up we have the actual card opening is designer series paper. So this is a 4, let me make sure I have the right measurements here, 4 by 6 inch piece of the Wildly Flowering paper, scored at the 3 inch mark. And then we'll just take some seal And this is actually the card opening. So that just opens like that. We're going to put a layer in here. I'll show you in a minute. And then for this one, I have a Stylish Shapes circle already die cut in basic white. I'm going to do that Birthday Blooms sentiment again. And we'll do that in Early Espresso. Birthday Blooms for you. Just right in the center. And then once again, we're going to have that overhang just a tiny bit. So I'm going to flip it 180 so I don't get the adhesive too far over. I'm going to put that on here. And then I've already stamped the medium-sized flower. And now this is really weird how this happened. And usually Stampin' Up! Is super, super color coordinated. But when I was designing this, I couldn't get this pink to match up with this pink. And I don't know why. This is actually Bubble Bath. If I used Petal in Pink, or Pretty in Pink, I'm sorry, Pretty in Pink, it was too orangey. It didn't match the mauve very well. So I used Bubble Bath for the stamp. But when I used Bubble Bath for the background, it was too purpley. So I'm using Bubble Bath ink with Pretty in Pink background, which is not how it normally works. Usually everything, you know, coordinates so beautifully, but for whatever reason, but maybe it's my stamps are dirty, or I'm not really sure, but it's not matching up perfectly. So to match it a little bit better and have it look better with the mauve, Bubble Bath and Pretty in Pink. Next, I also put the Moody in Mauve. There's a little background stamp center, and then that Early Espresso center that we've been using. And then two identical medium-sized flowers. Once again, popped up with some dimensionals. You can see the theme here. Hey, that's cool. And then we're just going to add these right around this sentiment so beautifully. And a couple of the textured dots. Put one there. I just love these textured dots, especially with this particular suite. So beautiful. Okay, here is the card. Let me show you my original one that has the inside done. So you can see, you can just do a little stamp on that, and you have a piece of white that you can write with or write on. And then you still see that beautiful paper that matches. So, so fun. So that is our little fun fold for the fourth card. One last card we're going to show you. And this one goes back to a more traditional. It's a crumb cake that's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Another vertical card. And this time we have a background. Let me give you a measurement. This is Misty Moonlight, and it's 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. Now, I did something a little different with this one. I gave you I wanted to save some paper. And how does this go? Here we go. So I actually cut a 3.5 by 4 inch piece of the Wildly Flowering Designer Series paper, and then I cut off a 1 1/4 inch piece from that piece. And then we're just going to move that part. I'll show you in a second how it's going to look. We're going to put one piece up at the top and then one at the bottom, kind of split. It really doesn't matter if it even matches up. It's just a way to save some paper because I'm going to put a sentiment right across there. So here's another piece. This is Boho Blue. It's 3.5 and it's 1 inch wide. I'm going to clean off my sentiment, and then we're going to use Early Espresso again. Every thought of you makes me smile. And we're going to do that over to the right. Boop, just like that. And we're going to pop that up. Before we do that though, we're going to add a piece of the beige bordered ribbon. So this is the same ribbon that you'll find for the new In Colors. And I love this ribbon. It's so easy to tie. It's not like super soft, but it's just got a really nice texture, and it especially looks nice with this paper because it has kind of a linen look, and that goes really well with the canvasy look, the canvas pattern on this paper. So here's our background. Let's put this on our card front with some seal. And I'm loving how the basic beige is just a little bit lighter version of the crumb cake, so it goes so nicely together. And I'm going to put some dimensionals all the way across so that this doesn't sag in the middle. And that's going to go where the Designer Series paper isn't, to cover that up. So just a little tip for how to, you know, make the most of your paper so you're not wasting any. Just a little tip. All right, we're going to, I've already stamped a couple of those little flowers. Let me show you how I did that because it does have that middle piece that you haven't maybe seen before. I'll get a smaller piece here. I started with crumb cake. Then I did Moody Mauve. And this is another little flower center piece. And then we'll do that Early Espresso with that flower center. It just really pops, and I love the way that really plays off of the flowers that are already in there. So that's how I made that. Obviously I die cut it, and I completely forgot one of my elements because it's so funny because I actually have leaves here, which is kind of the element that I was going for to put right here. I'll show you my original card, but this is a leafy element that you'll get. It's a textured floral die in Mossy Meadow. That's so funny. I looked at this card and I'm like looking at it thinking it's already on there. But I'll show you that in a minute. Okay. Then we'll pop these two up with dimensionals. One there. One there. Whoops, I'm kind of going over the sentiment. There we go. All right, let me show you the finished one so you'll see what I mean. See how this one, I actually have this element underneath. You want to put that on before you put your sentiment on with some liquid glue, then add your sentiment. That's so weird. those other leaves, it went exactly through there, and this one goes from here underneath all the way down underneath the ribbon. So it kind of was a little illusion there that confused me. Anyway, so you'll put that down first, then put your sentiment on, then put your flowers, and then add a couple of large textured gems, and you're all finished with that card as well. All right, so that is our 5th card. Let me get all of the cards again so you can see them all in the whole class collection. We'll put our host code. Don't forget to use that when you're placing an order. And we'll add all of these back here. So here's the entire class, And again, this is going to be available now until August 13th. You can earn this class with a $45 order. Remember, for the last days of July, you can bump it up to a $50 order. You're going to get a $5 bonus coupon with every $50 that you order. And so you use that, you can earn that in July, and then you use the coupons in August. You'll redeem them in August. So if you want to, you can wait until August if you already have a bonus coupon and use that on your order, but you'll still need to make sure that the final total is at least $45. So you can't have a $45 order, then use a bonus coupon and have it go down to $40. You have to have the final total be $40 or $45 or more to earn the class. Just a little side note about those redeeming the bonus coupons in August. So yeah, use the host code on the shopping cart page, V4XFAWDS. That will let me know that you want the Textured Floral class kit, and I will send you all of the parts and pieces that you need to create this. You're just going to need the Textured Floral stamp set. To make it easier, it's great to have the dies so that you can cut out the images after stamping, but you will get all of the other dies. So anything from Stylish Shapes, any of the background leafy die cuts from Textured Floral, those are all included. Any of the Wildflower Designs frames, those are all included. You just need to add your stamp set, your inks, and adhesives, and everything else will be there. All right, everyone, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer those for you. If you like the class, let me know that too. And hopefully you did. I really enjoyed making it, and I look forward to stamping again with you next time for our live class. Until then, thanks so much for joining us, and I will see you again soon. This is Angie with TooCoolStamping.com. Bye-bye.